Right. Nats 2016 down at Pittsburgh. If I said a solemn strike, what would you do?
I'm gonna MST that.
Hello, duelists. Tombox and Oscar here. And today we'll be sharing with you guys our Nats mega video for 2016.
I'm finally going to Nats.
So Oscar's going down to Nats along with a lot of our Vancouver buddies.
Yeah, 4 of my buddies, not Tombox because he failed to get his invite like a scrub.
Yep. Totally. Scrubbed out this year. Had 5 invites last year.
We didn't
so
go
sad.
last year.
We didn't go last year though. I think it was in Detroit.
Yeah, it was in Detroit. No, was it? Yeah, it was in Detroit. But
Yeah,
who wants to go to Detroit?
Yeah, I didn't go down.
Sorry, Detroit people.
Well, anyways, so in this video we'll be covering some of the most frequently asked questions regarding Nats. So I guess we'll start off with, what do you expect to see at Nats in terms of meta hold?
Meta hold, okay, that's a pretty important question. A lot of people going to Nats are kind of like wondering because recently at YCS Province there was a huge diversity. I mean, there was a lot of Cosmos, but after top 8 was rolled out, like Cosmos got cut down significantly. So the top 3 decks I think going in are definitely going to be Exceed Monarchs. By far the best deck, Exceed Monarchs, is absolutely ridiculous. The plays that they can do, like the extra deck variants, like the control that they can do, like the deck is crazy consistent, and because of Brilliant Fusion, and it's very powerful.
Hold on.
It's only consistent if I'm piloting. If I'm not piloting the deck, I will always draw Garnet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the deck is absolutely insane, and I feel like a lot of the best players, like Patrick Hoban, will be playing Exceed Monarchs.
Okay. Well, I actually played a couple of Exceed Monarchs online, and the versatility of that deck, even though they can reduce their hand size to like a very low count, the moment the Pantheism starts going into the grave, everything starts going south.
Yeah, it meshes together really well. The one problem with Exceed Monarchs is the expectable range of what they can do, how much damage they can do. Even though it's very high, it's very predictable. Their plays are actually very predictable. Unfortunately, it's a Monarch deck still, right? The Tzolk'in Monarch deck is pretty interesting, but again, it's a little weird variant, and we haven't seen much of it. I mean, the UK Nationals guy did win Nats with it, so that's pretty interesting. But UK Nats, it's not North American Nats.
Well, they do have slightly different rulings, because in terms of the timing of when trigger effects happen, they have the proper way technically.
Yeah, like what we dubbed the Satellar Deneb Call the Haunted MST ruling.
Yeah,
it's messed up over here.
Yeah, everyone knows about that. But anyways, what other decks are you expecting?
Yeah, so again, pretty obvious. Cosmo, second, I think, in the tier 1 range. With Exceed Monarchs, Cosmo, and PK Fire. Those 3 decks are by far going to be the most popular and most powerful decks going to the event. Cosmo with actually many variants. There's a Fire King Island variant, Demise Cosmo, which is being popularized.
Okay. What is this Demise Cosmo?
Well, basically they just play a bunch of trap cards, and like they play like 3 Farm Girls. But
Farm go back to 3?
Yeah, they play 3 Farm Girls because it's the best one to summon by itself. So they just summon a Rider and then they Demise. And then the end phase, they can choose between using resolving Demise and then resolving Tin Can. So the Tin Can add effect will still be in his hand.
Okay, so they can choose.
Yeah, but then they play like 3 Call the Haunted, 3 Oasis of the Dragon Souls, and it basically got a bunch of generic back row, and it's just Demise Cosmo.
Okay.
And then of course there's regular traditional Trap Cosmo, which is also pretty strong. I actually think the strongest build going into Nationals will be Demise Cosmo.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely a very scary deck. I played against a bunch of it, and the boards that they can make it's like Tin Can. It's old school Tin Can plus 3 back row, but now it's just Tin Can but plus 5 back row, and you're basically looking, you're like, oh god, how am I gonna clear this shit?
Well, I can clear it. Heavy Storm.
Yeah, Heavy Storm.
Heavy Storm, no.
5 MSTs, no problem.
Or you can use Holding Legs. That's a really good card. Summon it, they have to do something about it.
Yes.
Okay. Well, moving on from Cosmos, what's the next one?
PK Fire, of course. The deck hasn't actually changed much, but it's still, I think, a very explosive and a very consistent deck. The most consistent deck going into the event, and I feel like a lot of players are going to take that into account. Nationals being about a 12-round tournament, consistency is king, and PK Fire excels at it better than any other deck in the format.
Okay. Well, aren't they afraid of like Ghost Reapers?
Yeah, see, that's the problem. But honestly, I think Ghost Reaper is a very awful card. I actually picked up Ghost Reapers and I actually took it out of my sideboard in all my decks because it's just not as useful, especially when you draw it as your 6th card, you draw in the mid game. When they've already developed Dante's, it's pointless. It's not as good as Maxi, where you can use it at any moment at a time in PK Fire, and it questions their plays, and it's a very good card to have, but Ghost Reaper just doesn't do much, and honestly, it's not a flex card, so it's only useful for against PK Fire. Or if you're playing Draco Pal, you can use it with a mirror, but it's not good in the mirror.
Okay. Well, do you still think some people will actually still put it in their side deck just to like cheese out a couple of BA if they fear that matchup the most? Do you think they would actually just keep that?
Yeah, like I feel some.
I mean,
some crazy decks,
BA guys, man.
No, yeah.
Like Reaper.
No, some people who actually like I guess haven't tested as much or haven't like got onto the train, they'll still be playing Reaper. But I think PK Fire players are going to be very safe to just. Don't worry about Reaper, you know?
If they have it, they have it.
Yeah, it's kind of like when Monarchs play, like Domain Monarchs play against basically any other deck. They just restrict it. If they have it, they have it. You know, either you have the out or you don't.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't try to play around it by like, oh, I'm not going to summon any monsters until I can set Solemn
Don't
Strike.
put in Necroface in your side deck because you'll be wasting a slot.
Yeah, don't do it. Just play into it. And the worst comes to worst, if they Reaper you, you still have all the other rank 3s you can make. The PK Fire, the PK engine, and the BA engine that still exists is very good at making rank 3s, and rank 3 is still a very good toolbox.
For sure. All right, what's the next? Like, so you hit the big 3. What's coming down to the lower end of the spectrum?
So the big 3 obviously was Exceed Monarchs, Cosmo, PK Fire, and then now the tier 2 is what I described as a very strong deck, but not as consistent as the tier 1 decks. Obviously the tier system is very subjective. Depending on who is asking the tier system. But for me, it's a strong deck going into Nationals, but it's not the best deck. It's not wholly consistent, and the power plays are just not as strong.
And it's like percentage based, what we kind of expect.
Yeah,
to
meta
have,
hold
like,
percentage.
Maybe you have 30%, you're pretty much tier 1.
Yeah.
You know, we sort it up by percentages.
Yeah, we'll discuss that a little bit later. But tier 2 going in, I think, Odd Eyes Draco Pal. Unfortunately.
Is this very popular now?
Yes, it's actually a very good deck. They basically use Sky Iris to just have the scale searches, and then they have Odd Eyes Fusion. There's no difference. It's just the two new cards: Odd Eyes Performer Pal Phoenix and Odd Eyes Performer Pal Unicorn. It's just 2 searchable scales now. They don't do anything by themselves really, unless you play multiples.
They're pretty good on the field though. They can push quite a bit of damage.
Unless you play multiples, in which case there's really nutty ODKs you can get with it.
I feel like this deck is getting so much life support. You know, Konami tried to stab it and went to the hospital. They're on life support, like beep, beep. Oh, we found this new thing. Defib it with the Odd Eyes guys and Sky Arcs.
And Sky Iris. No, and Odd Eyes Fusion is actually a very crazy card in the mirror match. You have to watch for that card. It will single-handedly win mirror matches.
Yeah, it will swing the game completely around.
Yeah, it's a very good comeback tool for Draco Pal.
It feels like a CDI.
Yeah, it actually just is CDI.
It's a bounce CDI.
Yeah, it's easier to make CDI.
Yeah. Odd Eyes Fusion searchable.
Yeah, searchable.
Okay. Moving down this list, what else do we got?
Domain Monarchs, actually. Exceed Monarchs being the best, but Domain Monarchs the plays is too linear, and at Nationals where players are incredibly skilled, every player you play will be a very high caliber player from their region. Domain Monarchs is not as good as Exceed Monarchs going in because basically the choices you have is very limited.
Super predictable.
Yeah, super predictable, and I don't think it's a good option going into Nationals unless you're not like you're just fresh into the format. If you live near Pittsburgh, you got your invite, you're like, all right, I guess I'll go. I guess I'll play Domain Monarchs. Then, you know, it's acceptable. If you're flying in from where I'm flying in, you probably won't be playing Domain Monarchs.
Hey, man. I saved money. $30? $100? I don't want to. I can
$400 plane ticket, that's fine. $30
But what if I just want to cheese someone? Like, oh, you're playing BA.
You'll play one PK Fire player and just shaft them out of the
But
tournament.
the thing is, still, a lot of these people have earned their invites. Well,
yes.
Most of them. Some people are just like, can I have the invite? And some people give it to them. You give away people invites.
Yes, I do.
So,
I mean, it's a little controversial, but I mean, I don't need it. Just take it. It's a game. Everyone's meant to be played.
I mean, if you're going to go, I already have it. Like, I kind of denied a couple people back when I got 5.
Yeah.
Because 3 of them were bubbles, and I already had it.
Yeah. And it comes to a point where you don't really care. Like, the only thing that matters for me is top 8s.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that matters
Come on,
for
get
me.
the mat.
Yeah, the mat's the only important thing.
And just so you know, when you guys attend the event, you will be getting the Blue Eyes Twin Burst Dragon Net just for attending.
Is it Twin Burst? I thought it was PK Fire.
I don't know. Whichever one you see is whichever one you
Whichever
get.
one I come back with, that's the one we'll be
I
getting.
thought it was Twin Burst, but who knows? OCG one has a really nice one.
Oh yes, the Blue Eyes and Dark Magician one. That's the top 8. That's a top 32 cut one.
Oh.
Yeah. It's very gorgeous. Absolutely beautiful. I think it's Spirit Dragon and the new Dark Magician card.
Okay. I want one. But anyways, moving on. Do you think someone's gonna play Blue Eyes? Just for niche, like
actually,
I'm gonna go in. I'm gonna play.
If
Blue
you
Eyes.
didn't know, the Felgrand Structure deck is coming out the day before Nationals.
Okay.
So if you haven't tested against it, you might want to, because you might see some guy who's just basically trying to cheese wins by like basically not knowing how to play against it.
The element of surprise.
It's real. It's actually real. I mean, I remember when Chaos Dragons first came out. I mean, granted that Chaos Dragons was an absolutely nutty deck. Chaos Dragons first came out in a structure deck. People were topping it all over the place with it because they just didn't know how to out
the loop.
The loop.
Yeah. That was a crazy day.
Yeah, but honestly, I don't think that's going to be a very good deck because Blue Eyes without Alternate Dragon and Felgrand, the mix,
it's a bit slower.
It's very slow and it's still not very good. You will die out immediately to decks like Draco Powell or like Cosmo, which will just dump a bunch of damage on the board and you just can't handle it.
Now, for Blue Eyes players like for people that aren't aware of Blue Eyes decks, even without Alternate Dragon, it's still really scary when it's mixed in with the Felgrand. So here's some of the ways that you can actually get cheesed out of your spot in Nats if you lose to Blue Eyes. Now, what they're gonna do is they're gonna go, if they open into a Dark Matter Dragon, a common thing that they will send to the graveyard would be the Ancient Stone this Ancient Stone, the new egg.
The new egg. Yeah.
They'll send Arcbrave, and then they'll also send an Amorphage Goliath. Now, Goliath is a level 8 Dragonless Pendulum, but then here's the sequence of events that's going to happen. During the end phase, a Blue Eyes monster will come out from the egg. During your standby phase, Arcbrave will activate, reviving the Goliath, which shuts down your extra deck.
So basically, it's a standby phase. You'll summon a domain onto the board.
Exactly. Now, the worst case scenario is if they summon out the Dark Matter Dragon using the Gospel, or what they call Return of the Dragon Lord.
Yeah.
I think that's a new name for it. Yeah, you can't Raigeki this guy, because if you Raigeki, he's just gonna banish from the graveyard.
Yeah,
protected.
It's really silly.
It's really silly.
Again, it's a pretty sacky combo. Hopefully, not many people will be getting sacked by this kind of combo. But
it is very scary because next turn you will die because there's already 8,000 damage worth on the board right there.
So just watch out. Maybe side those Book of Eclipses or
just be careful.
Be careful.
Just be careful. Anyways, aside from Blue Eyes, okay, what are the things that you would consider rogue going in that are really player dependent?
So like tier 3, as I like to call it, or like rogue or other decks, other variants. Demise, any Demise variant. So Demise Clifford, Demise Osenju, not Demise Cosmo because that counts more as Cosmo. Demise.
That's tier 1.
I've seen Demise Satellar Knights. I've seen Demise Gravekeeper. Just basically Demise anything. Any deck that relies on Demise is, I would actually say, a pretty scary deck.
Hey man, it's a plus what? It's a +2.
+2, just straight up
Draw
+2.
+2.
+2 with 5 floodgates. Good luck, sir.
That's Cleese for you. That's Cleese for you.
Good old Clifford, still making an impact with their 5 floodgates. But yeah, that variant is quite scary. And if you're playing a combo deck like Draco Powell, that's actually something you have to watch out for. You will get stunned out and you will not be able to play the game. Also, they'll be like setting Necro Valley, and that stuns BK Fire, it stuns Monarchs. Yeah, of course it stuns Monarchs. Yeah, so again, Demise, you may want to side Master Rule for it. Cards like Genko Sekka are very useful. Holding Legs, pretty useful.
Holding Legs is one of my favorite cards right now, for sure.
Yes. So other decks there, again, Rogue, or in my consideration, is Mermail. Mermail actually won a very recent Nationals.
Oh, did they?
Yes.
Where?
Forgot where it was, unfortunately.
Sorry, Pascal.
Yeah, sorry. But they won, Pascal actually told me that they won a Nationals, but they were playing triple Skullmeister main board. And this was for PK Fire and Cosmo.
Wait, what does that card do?
It's basically a one card dweller. It's a hand trap and a dweller's 1 card.
Oh.
Negates a graveyard activation.
Okay, well that's actually pretty good.
Yeah, it's actually a pretty good card. So Buy yours now. Yes.
It's a secret only though.
Yeah, secret from Star Trek Blast, of course.
Oh, that's gonna suck.
Yeah, so Mermail I think is actually considered a little bit more rogue than what people would consider, would actually think. I mean, the deck is very strong to OTK your opponent, but again, it's got consistency issues and it only does one thing, very linear.
It has, sorry, but the first turn to them matters the most. If they don't see the prince, if the prince is not going back to town, it's over.
Or diva.
If there's no concert or no royalty, it's over. Okay.
Over for that deck. Game's over. Okay, so the last deck I want to talk about that's in the tier 3 range is Magisters. If you haven't noticed, Magisters is actually resurfacing into the meta.
Magispector?
Yeah,
Magispector. Okay,
Magispector.
same thing.
Yeah, same difference. But if you haven't noticed, Bunbuku itself, the raccoon, has spiked up to around $20 to $25 when it was previously around $10. So that card alone tells you something about Magisters, and the popular build right now is actually Magister and Performapel, and maybe Magister Magician of some sorts. But Magister Performapel is actually very strong because they can play Sorcerer and Skullcrobat, and they can search their engines, etc., and they can still summon Unicorn because they're using the Performapel Odd Eyes Unicorn. It's a high scale for them.
Yes,
and it's a very consistent engine that basically lets them ramp up their Magister cards and gives them rank 4 access. And cards like Trapeze Magician access because they're all spellcasters, right?
You can die to a Trapeze, man. With a double attack, it can attack twice, and don't try to burn them. It doesn't work.
Yeah, it doesn't work. So yeah, Magister, again, kind of a tier 3 roguish deck that will go in. If you see one, make sure you kill them as soon as you can. If they get to ramp up and get to pendulum 3 or 4 monsters at the same time, it's over for you because the monsters are very good walls. They can't be targeted, can't be destroyed, and they search
everything.
Traps. They search the best traps in the game, basically.
Counter traps all day, every
day. They search Solemn Strike. It's not just Draco Pals that does it now.
Yeah, and it's a lot easier for them because it's just a summon. That's it.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I guess that pretty much covers up most of the decks here.
Yeah.
So, this is a personal question. What do you think you're going to run? You don't have to share it.
Oh, I'm definitely going to be playing Cosmo, PK Fire, Monarch, and Draco Pals. All in one deck. It's going to be a 92 card deck. And when they flip Mask of Restrict on me, I'm just going to make Castel.
Oh.
Easy. No problem.
So if they go into, say they throw a Flying Sea at you.
Oh, no problem.
Drop the Monarch.
I'll just tribute it for Erebus. Why you do that? It's silly. Didn't you know I was playing the 5 Archetype deck?
You can't side against you. I swear, if someone goes in with a 60 card deck that hashes everything, opens, how do you think they're going to open? They're going to open like Draco Face Off, Tour Guide, just the best cards that...
Tour Guide, Face Off, Monkey Board,
Idea, Erebus.
Pantheism Prime, and then they'll draw into Idea and Erebus.
Oh man, they open with a Brilliant Fusion, so they get 2 normal summons.
Too good. Too good for me.
If they set up a board like that, you know what? Here, you can take the match. Just move up. I want to
give me that deck profile. Yeah.
Okay.
So if you come to Nats and you see me, please come up to me. I'm very friendly, as people tell me. I don't want to brag or anything.
He's not that friendly.
Shut up, dumps. But I'm glad to say hi to anyone.
You'll sign your cards.
Yeah, I'll sign your cards if you want me to. I mean, I don't know why you want to sign your cards.
Give him an MST to sign or a Twin Twister.
No, I will not sign Twin Twisters. I will only sign MST.TV. But yeah, no.
Way to plug ourselves in.
Yeah, come up to me. I'll sign your stuff. I'll do whatever. You come talk to me. Do not come up to me if I'm playing a game out of respect for me and my opponent. That's something that's actually happened to me before, and I find it actually a little annoying. If me and my opponent are playing and I'm in the middle of thinking of like a very in-depth play and I want to top Nats, like you're bothering me is... Unfortunately, it's a hassle for me, and I don't want to deal with that. And I don't want to be rude to anyone either.
Just make it easier for him. Don't bug him in the middle of a game. Out of a game,
no problem.
No problem. Give him a high five.
Yeah, and also on Friday at the convention center, me and maybe some other YouTubers will be doing a meet and greet. And
Yes.
details aren't out yet. They will be on our Facebook, and those other YouTubers will post it on their channel. But it's going to be a small meet and greet, nothing big. If you want to come out and say hi to us or find us at a set location instead of having to run around Nats during the event day, that's when we're going to do it. Friday at the convention center, probably around noon.
Take exhibition matches.
I'll play goats with one person. And I will also give away one CDI mat that Tombox has made.
Yes, there will be one giveaway if you can find this guy.
Yeah, first person to find me will get it.
Here's
no
the hint.
questions.
He will not have this hair. That's the first hint. He will not have this hair. This is like the first time you've ever seen Oscar with hair on this video. If you have,
it's summer. It's gonna be hot. It's coming off. I don't care. If you find me, you will have to answer one skill testing question. So if you come find me, there's one skill testing question.
That's so Canadian of you.
Well, I can't give it to everyone, right?
So Canadian of you. Have to answer skill test. You know, our McDonald's, we have like for Monopoly, you have to answer skill testing questions.
Really?
To get the cards. It's not free.
Yeah, we're going on a little tangent here, but okay. So the next thing I want to discuss is actually my meta percentage predictions. Now it's gonna be really quick. I actually think Monarchs are going to be the highest percentage going into it with around 30%. And then I think PK Fire and BA will be around 25%-ish. And Cosmo will be 20%. RI's Draco Pal would be around 10%. And then the other decks like Magister, Demise, Mermail, Rogue decks. I don't know why they're playing Rogue decks at Nationals.
Hey man, they can, if Rogue decks do well, you get like the community appreciates you more for being
you can
sacky.
Be the hero
for being sacky.
You're the hero of Yu-Gi-Oh! For playing a Rogue deck at Nationals and topping.
Hey man, lots of respect for you.
Yes, definitely.
Seriously.
But I think that's going to be around 15% of the rest. Again, Monarch's the biggest threshold.
I think you missed the 1%.
What's the 1%?
Obviously, the 1% is me.
Yes.
I will be the top 1%.
Yes, the top 1% who doesn't show up to the tournament.
All right, enough fooling around.
Yeah. Okay.
No, we're never gonna stop fooling around.
Yeah. So that's it. I think that pretty much wraps up.
I think
the video.
Yeah, I think that pretty much wraps it up. I think please look forward to finding this guy and all the other Vancouver guys. I think there's only one pack of Vancouver players going down, which is
I think it's just my group that's going down.
Yeah. Say hi.
It's gonna be 5 of us.
Show them around.
Yeah. Any Pittsburgh locals who wanna meet me on a Friday and take me to a bar, I am completely fine with that.
Yeah. All right, so that pretty much wraps it up. If you guys like this video, please give us a thumbs up.
Yeah, and if you want to see something specific at Nationals, like a specific deck profile or an interview with a certain player, leave a comment below and tell me what you want to see.
Until next time, don't forget to hold on to your MST.TV.